Esta es una muestra de los documentales técnicos
de Felicidad,
con los cuales nuestros alumnos perfeccionan su inglés. Neurolingüística. Think in English.
What do you want out of life?
To be successful, to be happy, and to live a long, healthy life.
What's going to make you successful and happy? What will make you feel like you're successful and happy?
Right now, money. Yeah, lots of money.
We're told in our society that the way to be a competent person, the way to be a good person, is to make a lot of money. In the last 50 years, economic growth has gone up a lot. In America, for example, we're about twice as wealthy as we were 50 years ago. But nationally representative surveys of people's happiness show that happiness has remained stagnant. People aren't any happier than they were 50 years ago, even though they're living in a lot bigger houses, they have more cars.
Anybody who says money doesn't buy happiness should go talk to somebody living under a bridge. But anybody who says money buys happiness should go talk to Bill Gates, okay? Neither of those things is actually true. When money buys you out of the burdens of homelessness, of not knowing where your next meal will come from, it changes your happiness dramatically. Much of what we believe about the causes and sources of happiness simply isn't true. People overestimate how much impact both good and bad events will have on them in the future. People believe that if good things happen, they're going to be ecstatic and that joy will last a very long time. In fact, they are ecstatic and the joy quickly dissipates. People believe that if bad things happen, losing a lover, losing a football game, losing a job, they will be devastated and devastated for a very long time. In fact, they are devastated for a very short time. In general, people do really good when things go really bad. Sounds like a country song, but it actually turns out to be true.
This is Town and Country in 1969, and I was featured as one of the top 50 debutantes in the country at the International Ball, along with Tricia Nixon and people like that. When I was run over by a truck in 1992, I was in shock. My whole life changed instantaneously. It was the 4th of July on my family ranch in Texas, where I'm from. We were coming in our truck from the barn right here, and as we were approaching, I saw my sister-in-law driving down the road in her truck, and I thought, well, if she stops, I'll get out and we'll talk. And so she did. And so I got out, and I guess it was right here, actually, where the truck was. And we were having a disagreement. Wow. She drove off in a hurry, and when she did, my hand was on the door handle. I was running alongside, trying to get my hand out and screaming, and fell. And when I fell, I was dragged until my hand disengaged and I fell under the truck, and I was crawling and clawing the gravel to try and get away, and I couldn't. And it went up my spine and over my head and crushed my face in the rocks.
My dad had already jumped out of the truck and was screaming, and I got there, and of course we both thought you were dead.
When I was in ICU, they could only recognize me by my hands.
My poor, beautiful mother.
And I had friends who didn't know what had happened to me. If I saw them on the street and went up to them, they just fell apart and started crying and were horrified. My husband divorced me and left me. He became a really bad alcoholic. It was very traumatic for him too, but for 9.5 years I was totally disabled. I've had 30 surgeries on my face. I don't know if it was a dream or if it was a vision or whatever, because I was kind of groggy after the surgery, and I had these images of, not an image that I had remembered ever seeing on my dad's face, but just this lecherous look. The memories that were coming back were of abuse by him, not just fondling, but fondling me, but also raping and threatening to kill me with his hands around my neck when I fought. I guess the shock of the trauma cracked this very good denial system I had built up in my life. I just really was angry I was alive. I thought about killing myself. I would buy myself time, say, well, okay, that's always an option, but I'll wait 6 months because I've got to be here for my kids today. I'd always been a super doer, an overachiever, and need-to-know person. And to be able to say, I don't understand, and I don't need to understand, and that's okay. It was kind of a catalyst of a healing process in my entire family. But it was very scary. In my life, integrating, accepting all of my life is part of healing. Hello. I have horses. I found them very healing to me. I had seen him at one of my stepdaughter's wedding. We knew each other years ago, and he asked me things like, did my nose work? And I liked and appreciated that, you know. And what was it like having been beautiful and then not? He wasn't afraid to talk to me, to talk about things. And we got married a little over 2 years ago. His name is Happy, and we have a wonderful life together. Calls me beautiful, and I love it. Yeah, it is a strange truth, but the truth is I am a happier person. I am more grounded, more centered, more connected and integrated with who I am and grateful for who I am today. I'm working with other people now as a practitioner. I think that you can make a choice and that you do make a choice when things happen in life.
Oh, this is fun. I haven't just stood out in the rain in quite a while.
Michael Pritchard has a unique way of teaching kids about happiness.
Middle school, isn't that a wonderful time when you're all going,
whatever. Talk to the booty, the hands off duty. Talk to the palm, you're not the bomb. Loser, loner, wannabe, whatever. No, duh, shut up. I don't think so. I read it on MySpace. Shut up.
How many of you every day see a kid here who gets isolated, teased, picked on, laughed at, and has become the target of lots of other kids teasing and bullying? Raise your hands, please. Raise your hands high, high. Look around the room, please. Look how disconnected we get over stuff. I mean, how many of you guys play that video game, Grand Theft Auto Vice City? You run over homeless people. You beat a prostitute to death with a tire iron. You run over cops, paramedics, firefighters. Am I right? Yeah. We love you guys. A great teacher named Helen Keller was asked, "Oh, Miss Keller, it must be hard for you to be blind." And she said, "It would be if I had no vision, because we really see with our hearts." Think about what your hearts are seeing that sometimes disconnect you. Think. And it can be the little words, just the little words. I was a coach out at Special Olympics. You ever seen a kid run and laugh? Yeah, I was out there at Special Olympics. I have a little 11-year-old girl who's I'm coaching. Boom, the gun goes off and she takes off running. What a heart, what a spirit. And I hear kids say cruel things to her, but she's a good teacher. She takes off running, she goes, "Yes! Whoa, this is not an Olympic form runner. She's hitting every lane." And she gets all the way down to the finish line, 40 yards in front of everybody, and she stops. And I was her coach. And I said, "Annie, no, come here. You win the gold medal." "No, coach." I said, "No, you don't understand. They're catching up. Walk to me, snap it. Come here." "No, Mike, please. And she turned around and she put her hand out for her friend, who turned and put her hand out for her friend. And then all 6 kids held hands and came across the finish line together, and she goes, "Wow! Together we all would win. Together we all would win." I know that there are kids in this room who have been teased and picked on and left out and isolated. Can I get a volunteer of somebody who can share what it feels like? Big round of applause. Come on down. I'm very proud of you, son. Stand in front of me. I'm proud of you. Tell me what happens sometimes. What do they say?
I have a depression disorder and ADHD. So it just feels like life, it feels like it shouldn't be this hard. It's just like every day after school, you start crying for no reason.
What have kids said to you, Ben?
Nerd, loser, gay, all that stuff.
What has it done to your heart, son?
Just makes me feel really bad.
Is it fair to you?
No.
Is it fair to any kid at this school?
No.
Stop a minute. Not on the football field, not on the basketball court, not in all the best academic classes or languages you have will you see, Benicia Middle, such courage as this. This is the courage you should learn to love and respect and honor. Give his heart a huge round of applause. That's courage, guys. Who else can share?
Everybody knows I'm Joey. So I'm like the shortest kid inside this room. Nobody else is shorter than me. So everybody makes fun of me. They don't even know, man. It's not fair.
Stop a second now, Joe. Take a deep breath. How should we all treat each other? Come with the love now, buddy. Come with the love. Come with the love. How should we all treat each other, Joey?
We should just feel how they feel and tell them that ain't right. You shouldn't be doing that.
Give that a huge round of applause. Good job, brother. Good job. I love you, son. Good job. Compassion leads to happiness. Big round of applause. This is the Benicia school you go to. Let them know. Let them know. This is the way you go. This encouragement. You guys are awesome.
Mother Teresa, a symbol of compassion, opened her first home for dying and destitute people here in Calcutta, India. Andy Wimmer is a volunteer at the home.
I was a banker and computer manager for many years and a quite ambitious fellow. I wanted to become the youngest bank director there, spoiled with a good income. I used and spent a lot of money and had a good life, actually, enjoyed the life. Yeah. I used to waste a lot of money on fashion, for example. I was quite a fellow with quite, into fashion and all these things. But it is not important anymore. I always felt that there is more in this life, not just going to the bank and having a good salary and having a good career and maybe wife and children and that's it. It can't be. Life is such a precious and beautiful thing. There should be some more, I met someone who worked in the home for the dying and he said, I show you that place and if you like feeling helping us, then you're welcome. Na? Bon appetit. I remember when I came first into the home for the dying, the first thing I saw was a young dying boy, maybe 15 years old, in very bad condition. And I had to feed him. And I don't know, I fed him and he ate with great difficulties, but then he opened his eyes and looked at me and I thought, so that's it now, So it was like a flash, it was like a small enlightenment. You learn a lot from these patients we care for. For example, acceptance and tolerance also. So we pick the people up usually from garbage dumps and from railway station platforms and admit them in the home. And then with basic medical care, we try to save their lives. But the most important is to show them that they are loved by God, that they are not forgotten, that their life is precious, that someone cares. So we do everything by hand, but there is a tremendous sweetness in taking someone's burden up a little bit. Just to lift this little bent body and take that burden away a little bit and help him to carry it. My life has a meaning. You have someone, a dying man in front of you, a dying young man, and he asks for a glass of water. It is very little, but it's so important to give him this glass of water. It's such a symbolic act even, you know. I got this life. I get my parents, my friends. I was never really sick. I had always enough food to eat. I am the first one in my generations which never experienced a war. For me, my life is like a loan given from God, and I will give this loan back, but with interest. And that's what we do. You serve your brother in front of you who is in need, and it gives yourself a fulfilled, happy life. Perfect, no?
Neurolingüística, Thinking English. Nuestra meta, convertir a Colombia en el Londres de Latinoamérica.